Hello everybody and welcome to a Grimdark Future Firefight Battle Report. A squad of high elves under the leadership of the Elven Noble Shakarth has landed close to an abandoned industrial complex. Their mission is to investigate the possibility to re-establish the complex. But smoke rises from the area and in the distance they can see orcs patrolling a camp in the middle of the complex. Shakarth has no choice but to get rid of the orcs to complete the mission. A group of orcs led by the orc boss Ugfuss has established a camp protected by the machines and industrial buildings in the abandoned complex. They plunder and salvage all they can use and are so far so busy that they don't notice the approaching elven squad. Here we have the battlefield with a central objective, and here we have the elves led by Shakarth, a Wraith guard, and 3 defenders, one of them with a mobile cannon with scatter laser, and they are armed with shotguns. Shakarth himself is a psychic and carries an energy spear. And here we have the Orc Clan with the leader Ugfuss armed with carbine and ultra claw. We have a flamethrower, another orc boss with a carbine and rocket mod, an orc with heavy machine gun, and then we have one here with pistol and ultra axe, as well as a commando with pistol and ultra saw. The squads will deploy like this, with the orcs in the middle and the elves on the outside of the complex. There is one central objective, and the squad that controls the objective at the end of turn 4 will be the winner. So far, the orcs have deployed very near the objective. Shakarth and a defender has deployed on the right side of the battlefield, the Wraith Guard here and the 2 other defenders with the scatter laser are deployed on the left. The elves will activate first and has the element of surprise. Red dice for the orcs and black dice for the elves. Now let's go to round number 1. The first unit to activate is the gun platform with the scatter laser. They will try to take advantage of the element of surprise and fire 3 shots against the orc with the flamethrower, needing 5s because of the cover, so 1 hit. The flamethrower orc has to defend, needing a 5+, and that's a 1, so the shot hits and the orc is wounded. 1 wound, and he has to roll on the wound chart, and he is stunned. By the sound of laser, the orcs wake up, and Kranish here, the big orc, tries to position himself to be in range for a shot with his carbine. So 2 shots, and almost all orcs are bad shots, so he needs a 6 because of the cover, so he fails both shots. Next activation is the Wraith suit guard here, who moves up behind the building where he is in cover and hidden from plain sight. Then we have Ugfuss, the orc boss. He moves close to the objective. He is still in range to fire 2 shots with his carbine against the gun platform. He needs 6+, and he misses both shots. Well, as I mentioned before, they shoot really, really bad. The elf defender moves up behind cover, and he has a clear shot at one of the orcs. 2 shots with the shotgun, needing 4s. Well, bad shooting is not only for orcs, apparently. Tornok, the orc with the heavy machine gun, moves forward to get a shot at the Wraith suit guard. Now he has a clear shot, he needs a 5 to hit, and he misses all 3 shots. Shakarth moves closer to the battle now. He's going to cast a spell against Tornok. the spell Soul Seeker, where he immediately takes 1 automatic hit. He needs a 3+. And he fails. Borak, the orc with the flamethrower, stands back up, so he is not in the risk of being taken out with a shot or a charge. So he's back in business, still wounded though. The third Elven Defender moves a bit closer, but stays behind the building for another action next round. The Orc Commando moves and charges the Elf Defender here. He is furious, so he has 2 attacks with the Ultra Soul needing a 4+ to hit. And he hits 1, and it's an AP 2, which means that the poor elf has to defend on a 6+. So he is in trouble now. And he makes it. Well, really cool. And now he can attack back. He needs a 4+. 1 attack. And not this time. Still cool, he resisted the orc attack. The final orc to activate is Omar, and he charges the Wraith Suit Guard with his axe. He's also furious, so he has 3 attacks, needing a 4+. And we have 2 hits, and the Wraith Suit Guard must defend on a 4+ because of the AP 1 of the weapon. And he fails 1, so he gets 1 wound. He has 3 wounds total, so he's wounded now, but still standing. Now he fights back. 3 attacks, hitting on a 3+. And 2 hits back. And the orc has to defend on a 5+. And he is struck down with 2 wounds. Has to roll on the wound chart now. And with a roll of 6, he is knocked out of the game. He was aggressive, he attacked, and, well, he was removed from the game himself. That concludes the first round of the game. The High Elves move closer to the objective. The Orcs spread out and attack and still guard the central objective here. And then we had a lot of bad shooting. Now let's proceed to round number 2. Elves finished first in round 1, so they will also begin round 2 with the first activation. The Wraith Suit Guard moves into position and fires 2 shots, needing a 3+, and both of them fail. Next up, Borak with the flamethrower moves into position to fire all 6 shots and throw a bomb at the Wraith Guard. He needs 6s to hit. 6 red dice for the flamethrower and 1 yellow for the bomb. Only 1 hit. AP nothing, so the Wraith Guard will need a 3+ to defend. And he gets exactly that. No wounds going through. The Elven Defender here moves back between the crates to get a clear shot at the Orc Commando. He needs a 5+ to hit because he has stealth. So 1 hit makes it, and the Orc Commando now has to save on a 5+. He doesn't. So 1 hit going through, and he is wounded. He needs to roll to see what happens. And with a 1, he is only stunned. And then the Orc Commando immediately activates to get back on his feet and not in a fragile and vulnerable position. Now Shakarth, the great Elven Noble Leader, activates, and he wants to cast the Destroyer spell at the Orc with the heavy machine gun, and he hits a 4+. And once again he fails. Now he takes a shot with his shard pistol at the Orc Commando, needing a 3+ to hit. And he is more or less useless. Really bad. Ornock fires 3 shots with his heavy machine gun. He needs a 5+, so no hits. Now Neelax, the elf with the gun platform, moves closer because he's now in range with the scatter laser and also his shotgun. So he fires 5 shots, needing 4 to hit, 3 shots with the scatter laser in black and 2 yellow dice for the shotgun. And the scatter laser scores 2 hits on Kranich, who now needs to defend with a 6+. And both shots wound. So he will now have 2 out of 3 wounds. He's still standing. Ugfuss, the Orc boss, still wants to keep himself relatively close to the central objectives, but he fires 2 shots with his carbine, needing a 6+ to hit, and in true Orc style, he misses. The elf defender here moves 8 inches because he's fast behind the cover and fires 2 shots with his shotgun at the Orc with the heavy machine gun. He needs a 4 to hit because he has a clear sight, and 1 shot hits. Now the Orc needs to defend, and with a 1 he fails, so 1 shot wounds. Now he has to roll to see what happens, and with a 3 he is stunned. Still in the game. Kranich moves even closer to the gun platform so he can fire his carbine and also his rocket. He needs 6+ to hit the yellow dice for the rocket, and all of them fail to hit the target. So that was the end of the second round. Still a lot of battle taking place around the central objective, the first casualties of the game, and still a lot of awful shooting. We'll see what happens in round number 3. The elves will once again activate first in round number 3, and the defender here takes a quick shot at the stunned Orc. 2 shots, needing a 4+. That's 2 hits, and since the Orc is stunned, he will immediately be knocked out of the game. And now it's time for revenge. The Orc boss will take matters into his own claw and charge the Wraith Guard. He's furious, so he has 3 attacks with his claw, and he needs a 4+. 2 of them hit the target, and it's AP -4, so the Wraith Guard will need 6s to defend. And he fails both of them, so 2 wounds, which is a total of 3, and he is injured now. Let's see what happens. It's a 5, and that means 8 in total. He will be knocked out. What a move by the Orc boss. Now it could be Shakarth's turn to finally shine, so he will begin with a spell against the Commando Orc needing a 4. And he once again gets a 1. Instead, he charges the Orc. He has 2 attacks with his energy spear, and he needs a 3+ to hit. And this is a complete disaster. Nothing hits, and the Commando Orc now fights back with his Ultra Saw. 1 attack, needing a 4. And he gets a 6, so he hits. It's an AP -2, so Shakarth needs a 6 to block the attack. And a 3 is rolled. So 1 hit will go through, but it will be deadly, so that means 3 wounds. And Shakarth is knocked over, he might be stunned, and that's exactly what he is. He's still in the game, but what a miserable performance. But immediately after, the Commando Orc charges the Elven Leader and takes him out of the game, leaving with one of the most sad performances in High Elf fleet history. But the battle continues with 3 shots from the laser gun platform and 2 shots with the shotgun. But there are 2 hits and Kranich has to defend, and he needs a 6+. And he gets 1, but also fails 1, which means he now has 3 wounds, and he'll have to roll on the wound chart. And he gets a 5, 8 in total, so he too is knocked out of the game. And the Orcs are now down to half their starting strength. Borak with the flamethrower moves up and fires all his 6 shots against the Elven Defender. He needs a 6+ to hit. And with 6 dice, we get only 1 hit. Now the Elven Defender needs a 5+ to resist the shot. And he fails, and that means 1 wound and a roll on the wound chart. Let's see what he gets. He gets a 5, and he also leaves the battlefield knocked out. Now both the elves and the orcs are down to half strength, and they need morale checks on a 4+. So the first one here, the Orc Commando fails his morale check and leaves the battlefield. Next up, Borak the Flamethrower gets a 6, so he's fine. And finally, the Orc boss here, and he gets a 3, so he also has had enough and leaves the battlefield. And now morale check for the elves, a 1. That defender is definitely out of here. And finally, the elf with the gun platform, he gets a 1. So all the elves have now left the battlefield, and almost all the orcs have 2. Only 1 left is Borak, the Orc Flamethrower. He is the brave one to stay and defend the objective. And that means we have an Orc Marauder victory. A lot of bad shooting, but mostly a completely useless Elven leader was decisive in this game. Thanks a lot for watching this battle report.